My Best Friend's Wish, Book 2 of the Work Husband series. Written by Blue Saffire. Read for you by Ore Nash and John Joseph Rogers. Audio production by AB Book Services.
Epigraph. Sometimes everything you want is right before your eyes. Have patience. It will all be made clear. Blue Saffire.
Preface. Prodigal Son. Geo. It's done, Jace whispers in my ear as I sit in this irrelevant meeting. I grunt and give a slight nod as he fades back into the background. Then I focus on the room around me. I'm discounted, forgotten, unconsidered, but I'm okay with that. These men have no idea what's coming for them. Old age has made them all complacent and out of touch. The world has changed, and they haven't. Leadership has failed, and they've become sloppy in their antiquated ways. This generation has no care or respect for the past or the rules. As a result, these men are becoming obsolete. My grandfather, on the other hand, has remained sharp. He asks questions. For everything he teaches, he asks for a lesson in return. I admire him for this. He will be the saving grace for a few. The others will get what they deserve. Their greed will consume them. Their lack of foresight will end their world as they know it. My gaze lands on Dario. My twin brothers are unique and the complete opposite of each other. While Dante responds with brutal force and builds from the hand he's dealt, Dario is a quiet storm. He's the thinker. He always has a million questions. He's going to say what he thinks, and he'll come at you once he figures out the problem he needs to solve. But Dante is the one who's going to silence you and ask questions later. Not Dario, unless provoked into a blinding rage, which takes a lot, or involves Carleen. This is why he was chosen for this part. Yet, here he sits with a stern scowl on his face. I know this isn't what he wants. He still doesn't fully understand what he's needed for. His mind is elsewhere. What he wants belongs here in America. Dario found his forever years ago, but there are others who have tried to map out his future and take that away from him. Or at least, they think they have. Dario won't be the one to make the sacrifices in this family. That will always be me. I'm the tsunami they don't see coming. Ever wonder why magicians say abracadabra? It's to get your attention off their next move. The word calls to your ears and distracts the eyes. It's like brain confusion, like biting down on a virgin's ear as you break their barrier. Well, I, Dario Di Lorenzo, am the biggest fucking abracadabra there is. I'm the wand, the hands, and the curtain the wizard is hidden behind. The smoke and the damn mirrors. They fucked up writing my ass off. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself again. This isn't about me. This is about my little brother and how I'm going to make sure he gets to have the life he should. He was never meant to be the dawn of our family. Yet another illusion. He's not the one with the dark soul. Not as dark as it would need to be for what's coming. No, they started this, and I will finish it. There are layers to everything I do. They fucked up thinking they could replace me. Like I'm not a fucking Di Lorenzo by blood. We'll see. I promise you this. If you're gonna come for me, make sure your ass is smart enough, or at least smarter than me. I wish these motherfuckers luck. I have never been anyone's fool. Just because I don't turn my head every time a snake rattles, doesn't mean I don't hear the rattling. My axe is always at hand, ready to chop heads. I am Gio Michelangelo Di Lorenzo. Put respect on my fucking name. Chapter 1. Musing of a Child. Dario. I look down into my palms as I sit on this park bench. This is the same park where Carleen became my best friend. My mother would bring me and Dante here to play. It was like an escape from that big house. While Car and I were friends for years before we could run this place, some of my fondest childhood memories happened right here on this playground. It was a time so much simpler than now. My mother would tell me to enjoy being a child. I get it now. When I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, it all makes sense. I rub my thumb into my palm, longing to talk to my mother. I feel like she would tell me the right thing to do. I'm not like Dante or Gio. They've accepted who we're supposed to be. I accepted it on the one hand, but I still have a life of my own I want to pursue. I have dreams beyond becoming the Di Lorenzo Don. I've wanted more for my life than being one of Nono's capos. If not for my Italian pride, I probably would say fuck it all and run off with the one constant in my life, Carleen. I stare off at the slide and remember one day in particular on this playground. Dante had been on the swings, and I sat at the top of the slide watching my mother. I tilted my head to the side and observed all the men and women standing around her. There were always people with us. None of the other kids had an entourage with them, not like this. Then there was Gwen. She was always there to whisper in my mother's ear. I focused on my mother and watched her movements. Something about Mama made her different from the other mothers. Even at 8, I knew this. My curiosity got the best of me. It always did. I slid down the slide and walked over to my mother. She gave me a bright smile when she saw me walking over. The moment I stopped in front of her, she ran a hand through the front of my hair.
Are you having fun, my handsome boy?
She took my face in her hands to kiss both of my cheeks.
Yes, Mama, but I have a question.
Oh, really?
She smiled.
Yes. Why do we always have so many people with us? None of the other kids do. What makes us different?
She reached to cup my chin in her hand.
My dear Dario, always the watchful one. You have plenty of time to learn about life as a Di Lorenzo. Don't be in a rush to grow up, my sweet boy.
But what makes us different?
She puckered her lips. I didn't think I was going to get an answer. However, her eyes lit up and she tugged me onto her lap.
Do you remember your books about the dragon families?
I nod.
Well, remember how some dragon families were more dangerous than others?
Yeah. The hero had to protect his friends and family from the other families. Bad people wanted to hurt them.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. You will always have to protect your friends from our life, and people will always be after our family's power. This is why we always have people around to protect us.
Oh.
But this is not the time for you to worry about such things. Be a child and enjoy every moment you can. When the time comes for this life to pull you in, you will wish you had. Look, there's your friend. Why don't you go play with her?
I look up to find Carleen looking at Dante with her brows pinched. I know that look. She knows my twin isn't me. Not like everyone else. She turns her head my way and her face lights up. She's so pretty. Her brown face and those long, puffy braids always draw my attention. She's taller than most of the girls on the playground, but she's also really skinny. But it's her smile that stands out. Her lips are so soft and puffy looking.
But Mama, does that mean I'll have to protect Carleen from our family? She's my best friend. I don't want anything to happen to her.
Essere un bambino. Be a child, Dario. I will always keep you and your friends safe. You be a child and allow me to do the rest.
But Mama, the hero in my book couldn't trust all of his family. It was his own family that took his happiness.
Her face hardened instantly. Her lips pinched. I knew I said something wrong.
Maron. I forgot about that. I guess I picked the perfect example. Forget everything I said. Go play.
She kissed my cheeks again and sent me on my way. I shrugged and followed her instructions. Running as fast as I could, I joined Carleen on the slide. I only looked back once to see Carleen's mother sit next to mine. They always sat together. All of my questions forgotten, soon I ran the playground chasing after my friend. Suddenly she tripped over what seemed like nothing and fell to the hard ground. I rushed to her side. She turned over with tears in her eyes. "Are you okay?"
No.
She cried, looking down at her skinned knees. "Don't cry." I moved to blow on her cuts like Mama did for me and Dante when we fell. I frowned as I realized there were other steps before the blow. Wait here. I'll get Mama."
Dario,
She sniffled and held out her hand.
don't leave me.
I remember holding her hand as I waved for our mother's help. Mama came with a first aid kit, and Carleen's mother fixed up her knees. From that day, I vowed to protect Carleen from the other dragon families. It's the reason I've fallen in love with my best friend and refused to tell her. We could never be together. I now know my role in the Di Lorenzo family. Carleen would never be safe with me. My thoughts turned to my mother. She didn't stick around to keep us safe. However, I don't think she was safe. Dante thinks she left us. I've never believed that. My mother loved us so much. Something else happened. Back then, I was too small to find out what. I didn't have the money, power, or respect to gain answers. Now, all of those things are at my fingertips, so I won't run, and I'll give up all hopes of ever having Carleen as more than a friend. Even that has its dangers, but I don't think I could breathe if she weren't in my life at all. However, I'm going to find out what happened to my mother. That last night before she disappeared, I overheard something, and I think I know where to start looking for answers. If that means going through with this trip to the other side to get them, so be it. I pull my phone from my pocket as it buzzes. Seeing it's Grandpa Esposito, I groan. He's been calling non-stop. Gio already told me to avoid his calls. I don't know what that's all about, but Gio always has a reason for everything he does. I don't dislike my grandfather. Of us three brothers, he's always been the kindest to me. He's the one who has spent most of my life talking about me running the Di Lorenzo family someday. Now that I'm older, I've wondered why we've never taken the Esposito name. To be honest, I don't think my mother ever took it either. More bullshit and secrets, I mutter. I know why Dante hates him, but I don't know the deal with him and Gio, or what happened between him and Nono. Frustrated with it all, I dial the one person I need to talk to in order to clear my head. All of this shit is ready to crush me.
Carleen. What do you mean? I thought we had all the permits.
We did. Then you asked for a few changes, and I had to pull new ones.
Okay, fine, but I can't live like this. What happened to moving in sections so I wouldn't have to move out during the renovation? You've torn my entire place apart. I seethe at the contractor.
The guys messed up. Joey got confused and told the guys to demo everything.
Got confused? He got confused? Do you guys not communicate? What am I supposed to do? I don't have time for this. I'm fuming. It's bad enough Dario will be leaving the country, and for the first time, I'll be running the restaurant by myself. I'm so nervous. I could shit my pants every time I think about it. Now this? I knew I should have waited to do this. It's not that I don't think I can run the restaurant on my own. Dario insisted we open a restaurant together. I had no idea he planned for us to open it under his family's empire. I mean, It does make sense, but the Di Lorenzo name comes with so much pressure. Pressure I tried to avoid by dropping out of my residency and becoming a chef. My father still looks at me with so much disappointment. As a third-generation surgeon and the chief of staff at his hospital, he had such high hopes for me as a surgeon. I loved having a scalpel in my hands, but the politics and the pressure were threatening to snap me. I would leave the hospital no matter what time of the day or night and go to hang with Dario in whatever kitchen he worked in. I found myself happiest with an apron on. I'm a fast learner. Some call me a sponge. I have always been determined to learn. I hate not being able to learn something once I put my mind to it. It's beyond learning by watching because I can understand and adapt the why of the matter. I connect the dots from A to Z, even if they're not explained or shown to me. After watching Dario for years, I started cooking school to pursue my hobby, but eventually I fell out of love with the operating room and in love with the kitchen. Okay, maybe my mentor and best friend had a little to do with me falling in love, but I'd never tell Dario that. I've been in love with him since we were 8, and he blew on my scraped knee and held my hand as our mothers cleaned it for me. I loved Ava too. It wasn't long after that day that she disappeared. It broke my heart. She was always so nice to me. I'm going to kill Gio, I hissed under my breath. He recommended this guy when I asked for someone who wouldn't rip me off for being a single woman. I'd gone behind Dario's back to ask his brother because I know Dario. He would have taken on this entire task himself. He has enough on his shoulders. My phone rings right as I get ready to lose my shit on this man standing in front of me. Hello?
What's wrong?
Dario demands as soon as he hears the frustration in my voice. I rub my temple. Nothing. Are we still having lunch today?
Don't, Carleen. I'm not in the mood. What's wrong?
I sigh and roll my eyes. This man has been my protector for over 27 years. It's one of the reasons I love him so much. However, I hate to burden him with my problems. He carries so much responsibility with running our restaurant and training other chefs for his family's locations throughout New York and New Jersey. Suddenly, the weight of it all settles on my shoulders. The pressure is mounting, and the panic rises. It's all too much. I don't want to fail Dario and his family's legacy. I never should have spent all this money on this place, and now I can't even live in it. I burst into tears as the frustration of my situation comes to a peak. I hate crying. I always have.
Where are you? I'm on my way.
Don't. I'll meet you at the restaurant. I need to get out of here. I sniffle.
What's going on, Car? Talk to me.
It's everything. My place is a mess. They've demoed everything. I'm gonna have to find some place to stay. Damn it, I don't want to go stay with my parents. If I have to listen to one more rant about the career I ruined, I'm gonna jump off this damn building.
Slow down. You can stay at my place.
No, I can't. You're leaving at the end of the year. I don't know how long this will take.
Exactly why you can stay at my place. You can have it to yourself once I'm gone. There's security and a concierge. You won't have to worry about a thing.
Are you sure about this? I don't want to be in your way or cramp your style.
You can have one of the guest rooms all to yourself. I don't even have to know you're there. Come on. With all the money you're spending on renovating that place, you don't need to pay to stay somewhere. And you already said staying with your parents is off the table. You hate Blake's husband, and you and Tony would kill each other. I'm your best option. This will keep you close to the restaurant so you're not driving across town in the middle of the night when inspiration hits you and you want to cook in the kitchen. Come on, Car. I've got you.
I sigh, knowing every word spoken is the truth. Against my better judgment, I bite the bullet and agree. Okay, but I need to pack. Can we push lunch back?
I'm coming to you. I'll have lunch with me. My car has more space. I'll help you move before our shift. Apollo can handle prep for service.
Thanks, Rio. You don't know how much pressure you just took off my shoulders.
Anytime. I'll see you in a bit.
Chapter 2. The Packing. Dario. I enter Carleen's place, and it's a fucking wreck. They've pulled this place apart to the studs. I'm surprised because she was supposed to be able to live through this. I get pissed and head for the contractor right away to find out what the fuck happened. Arms wrap my waist and my body hums. I know it's Carleen instantly.
Oh, no, you don't, Rio. Come with me.
She says as she starts to tug me in the other direction. How the fuck did this happen? I ask as she tugs me into the garage. I turn to look at her as I place the food on the folding table she has a suitcase sitting open on. She blows out a breath and rubs her forehead. There's so much frustration on her face. It broke my heart to hear her crying earlier. I know how much she wants this place done. It's been her first big purchase since we opened the restaurant 5 years ago.
I went on a girls' trip so I wouldn't be in anyone's way. I didn't think I needed to babysit these guys. This morning, I walked into this. Like, I don't understand. The movers weren't even supposed to empty every room. I still don't know who told them to do this. If they hadn't emptied the place, they wouldn't have been able to do this.
I blow out a breath and pull her into my arms. Forget about it. It will work out. Remember when we were in high school and we talked about getting a place together to become roommates? She laughs a little.
Yeah, my dad wasn't having that. And then you went off with Dante to travel the world when I was old enough to do whatever I wanted.
I don't tell her I purposely spilled and told her dad our plans because I knew I couldn't live with her. Carleen came into full bloom senior year. Gone was the skinny, lanky teenage girl I called a friend. She has one of those bodies that's a showstopper. Medium-sized breasts and an ass that won't quit. Her long legs are shapely and speak of the workouts she's religious to. I've wanted to fuck Carleen since we were 16, and Dante soaked her with a water gun. The pink bikini she revealed in our pool house that day when she took her white t-shirt off had me so hard, I took off for the house to get my shit under control. That was the first of many times I rubbed one out to thoughts of her and her sexy, deep brown skin. I knew I was in love with her when someone else asked her to prom senior year. I broke his arm after she said yes. His ass had the right mind to tell her he wasn't going after. She cried in my arms because she didn't think anyone else would ask her. Not because of me. She had no idea what I had done. But because she was never treated like the other girls. Being darker, Carleen felt like she wasn't as desirable as all the others. I call bullshit. She was the prettiest girl in our school. The only reason I hadn't asked her was because I knew I couldn't have her, and it was wrong to get our hopes up no matter how much I wanted her. However, in the end, to dry her tears, I did take her. Yeah, well, we can finally be roommates. It will be fun. She looks up at me with a small smile.
Do you still walk around naked?
I grin. I have that robe you bought me for Christmas. I could ask you the same thing. I've heard Tony complaining about you and your panties and bra all the time.
Yeah, but Dario, you've never walked in on me butt-ass naked in the middle of the day.
To be fair, I thought I had more time. You were an hour early.
I haven't used my key to your place since.
I laugh. What? I didn't give you a good show? I swear I see lust fill her eyes. I release her and take a step back. The last thing I need is to add to the complications in my life. I have never dated a black woman, not because I'm not attracted to them. I actually love looking at them, but Carleen is the only one I want. I'd rather date the total opposite of her if I can't have her. For me, it's understood no woman will ever measure up to her. How could they? In another life, I would have married this woman years ago. She's everything I want.
Whatever, Dario. I better not see your ass cheeks or anything else.
I make no promises. I wink and clap my hands. Okay, let's eat, and then you can tell me where you need me.
Colleen. I never should have mentioned seeing him naked. I will never in my life forget that day. I almost slipped in my own drool. Dario is hung like a motherfucker, and then he has the nerve to have an upturned bend in it. It's almost a shame he's not into black women. All I want is one experience, just one. My pussy pulses from the memory of the delicious sight. The view is just as nice from the back as it is from the front. Dario has a nice, tight, hard-looking ass. Who am I kidding? The Di Lorenzo men were bathed in beauty and dipped in sin. I envy any woman who gets to spend the night in one of their beds.
What are you thinking about?
Dario asks as he dips his grilled cheese into his tomato and basil soup. It's from one of our favorite spots. I'm working out a new recipe. I lie.
Oh, really? For what?
It's a pasta dish. I'm thinking citrus and seafood.
Sounds good. You go with herbs? That's gonna be nice. Maybe you can make it for me before I leave. I'll help you tweak it. Are you thinking of adding it at the restaurant?
I blush. I've never added one of my main courses to the menu. I'm terrified to. Dario is a master in the kitchen. I don't even think he would be in business with me if we weren't best friends. I still have so much to learn. I work hard to improve, but I don't think I'm there yet. He points his half-eaten sandwich at me.
Maron, I can see your thoughts. Before you start that bullshit, you're one of the best chefs I've ever worked with. You're a natural. The speed you learn at is crazy. Your flavor profiles are amazing, and your knife skills are unmatched. It wasn't my cook that got us that James Beard Award. I wasn't in the kitchen. You were a major part in the acquisition of our 3 Michelin stars. We've kept them because of you. You're on that cookbook cover right along with me. 1 million copies sold. You're a part of that.
All a part of being in the right place at the right time.
Fuck out of here.
He tosses the rest of his sandwich down and sits back as he folds his arms over his chest. I look away as his muscles stretch as polo. I've been doing my best not to stare. Dario is about half an inch shy of 6'6". While the leaner of the twins, he's still a bulky man. Every inch of him is sexy, especially the kiss the chef tat on his neck. I know for a fact he has other distracting tats along his ribs and across his pelvis. For years, Dario has spent time in the gym with me. Because of him, I've continued kickboxing and started lifting. I've sculpted this body with him at my side, pushing me to be my best, even on the days I've wanted to give up. Most times in hope that our sweaty workouts would turn into more. Someday. Heck, a girl can hope and dream, can't she?
You know, you annoy me sometimes.
I tilt my head to the side and laugh. Really? Wow. And I thought we were best friends.
And that's exactly why. I know you can't believe the crap that comes out of your mouth. But I also know you're not the type to fish for compliments. So I'm still trying to figure out where this all comes from.
I mirror his posture. Not everyone is as confident as you are. People put on a brave face, but most are faking it until they make it.
Please, miss me with that shit. You know how my family is about our legacy. You would never have been granted a position, least of all a restaurant, if you didn't have the skills. With me or without me, you needed the talent, and you have it.
Can we change the subject? He snorts.
Want to talk about that first steak you made for me? Now that was pure shit, and I think I had the shits for a week after.
I burst into laughter and tossed my paper napkin at him. He's not lying. I was so nervous to cook for him, and I choked so bad. It's like I forgot everything I learned. It was horrible. You still suck as a pastry chef. He shrugs and winks.
But my best friend is one of the best pastry chefs in New York, so I'm safe.
I duck my head and blush. I am great with pastries, but I want to master savory cooking so bad. It's why I work so hard. I'll get there. I'll have my signature dish that I can duplicate to perfection every time. I know I will.
That was perfect as always.
He says as he finishes his food.
So, where do we start?
What? You have some hot date? I tease. He frowns at me.
No, We have to get to work. That reminds me, keep that asshole out of my place.
I groan. I should have known this was coming. I started dating a few months ago, and Dario hates Lou with a passion. I still don't know why. They've hardly met. Lou is a pretty nice guy. We met on a dating app. It's not that serious, but I'm tired of trying to explain that to Dario. If it were up to him, I would never talk, text, or go on another date with Lou. Honestly, Lou checks off most of my boxes, all except being Dario Di Lorenzo. He owns a successful real estate company, and he's been a total sweetheart. Dario, see? Now this is why I should find someplace else to stay. Trust me, I don't want to listen to you fucking any more than you want me to have someone in your place.
So you're fucking him now?
No, but that's none of your business. He snorts and shrugs.
You don't have to worry about listening to me fuck. I've been celibate.
I scoff. Bullshit. Since when?
You make me sound like some man whore. Is that how you see me?
He pulls a face, looking truly hurt. The Fleming twins, Natalie Hirth, your professor your senior year in culinary school. Shall I go on?
I was in a monogamous relationship with each of them.
I laugh so hard, I have to hold my stomach. He was not monogamous to the twins. He was screwing one and dating the other. They just didn't seem to care.
Whatever. I haven't been dating because I know I'm not going to find what I want. You won't hear a peep out of me unless my hand grows lips.
Fine. I won't have Lou over. I don't say out loud I think that's coming to an end. Lou wants things I don't want with him. I think I might be wasting his time.
Good. Now let's get this stuff to my place. Time is ticking.